No problem. Call this meeting to order Monday, September 20th. September 12th, 2022. Greater Mass Transit District 2105, Northeast Jefferson Avenue, Perry, Illinois. Roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Ahart.
Present.
Trustee Polk.
Present.
Trustee Hare.
Here.
Trustee McBride. Don't believe she's available. And Trustee Knox.
Present.
Okay. We have a quorum, sir. All right.
We all stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Nick? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next order of business, receipt and reading of minutes for the regular meeting of August 8th, 2022. Everybody had a chance to read them. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I get a motion to pass?
I moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Receipt and reading of communications. Joe Manager.
I have one communication, sir. This came in this afternoon, and I was kind of touched by it, so I thought I'd read it to the board. I was called to your facility by Peoria Police this past Friday for a DCFS emergency. I wanted to take a moment to let you two, this was also to Shamra and myself, know how impressed I was with the personnel working for you on that afternoon. I had a woman with an autistic child that was screaming, crying, and running around. In addition to this, there were multiple homeless people in your area, along with their dogs, as well as a lobby full of people, one that was screaming and harassing other customers in the lobby. There was one gentleman, Reggie, and two females working in the office area that assisted me. I wanted to communicate to you that they were incredibly helpful to me, respectful toward me, and most importantly, respectful to your customers. They presented a quality human beings that I was very touched by the experience. The gentleman, Reggie, expressed a great deal of concern regarding the child I was there to see, and after asking me if the child could leave the state, bought a bus ticket for the child and her mother, taking her back home to Missouri. I am working with DCFS right now to get him reimbursed, as the department would have bought the ticket. It just that nothing in the state happens quickly, and it would have taken days. And that mother and child would have been homeless until then. I have enough experience in my old age that behave in this manner, like their job, have respect for their superiors, and are treated well by their superiors. Having said that, thank you. I cannot remember the last time I have seen people come together and look out for another human being as your staff did. I'm eternally thankful for their assistance, and my experience with them was one that I will not forget. Your agency does a lot for this community, and until Friday, I had no idea regarding the issues you and your personnel face on a regular basis. What a tough environment. Heidi Creasy, MA, CADC, Supervisor of Child Protection. So I did respond to her and let her know that if they didn't get Reggie reimbursed, that we would take care of it.
Very nice.
And that is all I have.
Thanks, sir. Next order of business, report of the officers. Okay, hearing nothing. Moving to the report of standing committees. Anybody? Patty, go right ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on ADA. I have asked and have been granted permission to use Desiree as my assistant in reaching out to all of our agencies that are currently on the ADA committee. We want to stress to them that we're going to be a proactive committee, not reactive, that we're not going to be here just to hear complaints. We're going to be doing some activities as we move forward. So I want you all to be on the lookout for things that we're going to be doing in 2023. We do want to have one more event this year. We're trying to work on having a seminar, more educational, on how people can apply for paratransit, the difference between the different kind of passes. We're going to have a meeting with our teams next Tuesday, I think, to discuss how we want to do this. We hope to have a meeting at the library to invite the public, and so you'll be getting more details on that. But in addition to that, I just want to say, in going around and visiting our agencies, EPIC, CWTC, I have heard nothing but extremely just excellent reviews on the cooperation that they have with us, but they all talk about how wonderful Angel and her team is to work with. Anything that they need, any problems that they come up with, Angel and her group are there to help. So I just wanted to give her a shout out and be sure to tell your people that what they do is truly recognized. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? John, anything? Jeff? Okay. Okay, moving on. Board of the General Manager.
Excuse me. First and foremost, I guess my week is going to be kind of in flux. I got a report for jury duty tomorrow morning. If I don't get selected, then I plan on going to IPTA, where about 6 of our team members will be through Thursday, Tuesday through Thursday. So, so we may or may not be here. So, one of the other things, the transit center. I've had some discussion with Trustee Polk about maybe redoing it, looking at other needs for it, but we've got a renter that wants it really bad right now. So what I think I'm going to do is lease it to them for 3 years. It'll take us 3 years to put together plans, funding, and come up with any ideas that we want to do. So that way we can at least collect some money while we're waiting, because there's nothing we can do right away on our end that would change anything. So if the lease agreement will probably be coming, I don't know if it'll come next meeting or the one after, but that'll give you guys some time to think about it. If you really don't want me to pursue that, you got time to think about it, we can talk about it. But that's kind of my thinking, that at least we'll have a renter in there. We can still make our plans, we can think what we want to do, and then down the road, we can make changes if we want. So, because like I said, it'll take us at least 3 years to put plans together, get financing, and get the wrecking ball in there, if you will. So, you know.
Who's the potential tenant? Is it a daycare again?
Yeah. Right now, I think the last I heard, we had about 3,000 a month rent we'd be getting, so 36,000 a year. There were some late emails about the organizational chart. It is moving forward. There were some tweaks I have to make. We had a change on Friday. I forgot about. We're going to put the customer service representatives under Shamra now, probably starting in October. But I think I want to do some more checking as far as the approval process for it. I think it's just Chris and I that need to sign off on it, that we've looked at it and agreed to it. Of course, we'd have run it by everybody on the board first, but typically we run it in the budget package, and it's kind of in there and it's approved every year. So, but I want to do some double checking on that. I don't think it'll be that hard to reestablish it. But in the meantime, I'll send it out to the staff, and because I think it's pretty well done from what I understand, unless there's more direction that I need. Yes.
Just question your EEOC person. Any thoughts as to when we might have one, or any?
that was the other one that was still floating around. I've got a couple people looking at maybe using it, maybe having it as a contracted position. So we'd have an outsider basically come in if we had a complaint to evaluate. So getting bids on that right now. If not, I'll have to, through some of the other suggestions that were offered, we may create a position that it could be in that department as well. So we'll look at both scenarios and see what's going to work best. And then also I wanted to make sure we was DOT and FTA were okay with it. I think I'm forgetting something. What did I remember? Well, that might be it. Oh, we did have a lot of media attention for our fine free, fare free program that went off last week or 2 weeks ago. So went to 2 council meetings, East Peoria and Peoria, and generated a lot of attention anyway. So, and from what I've heard, the program's doing well. So other than that, I think that's all I have. Does you have any questions, comments?
Questions? No, sir. Thanks, Doug. New facility update. Beth?
All right, phase A rear building, punch list, we're at 90% complete. M2's been reviewing some of the items, and we did have to order some additional material on some of the items. So hoping to have that stuff in the next few weeks to get that wrapped up. We did have some good news that our compressors shipped today, so hopefully those are here in the next week and a half, and then we can get started on that instead of being middle October. So I'm hoping to get that stuff wrapped up soon. Closeout documents still about 98% with subcontractors and the design team, and then working with the owner on when to schedule training. The last thing we'll have again is just the compressors, and those are up and working. So doing well on that. Phase B, C, and D. A&J Electric installed manholes, conduit, and electrical bank, and poured duct bank near admin building. Annie Finch, he's kind of our main people right now, so hopefully we'll get moving forward with them. Backfilled and graded at the southwest corner of the administration. Compacted soil at admin building footings and footing pads. They also excavated for elevator number 2. They have been excavating garage building footings, grading near admin building. We're using Cyril and Hess trucking to acquire some of the DVE. Right now, the only one's on site for that. Installed rock at the detention basin. And then they also started removing asphalt for the storm line excavation at the back south building, and then started installing storm piping and manholes. Basically, the main people right now on site. RCC, we formed the elevator pit walls, admin building, footings, and garage low wall, formed a retaining wall, and then poured high and low wall along with the retaining wall. Rect forms for admin high wall and building footings. And if you look out there, you can see that you're starting to see the shape of the building, which is kind of cool. So it makes it very exciting. Budget update, no adjustments to the GMP. We're again currently at 99% complete with the phase A, just kind of releasing everyone down to 5% retainage as complete. And then phase B, C, and D, 22% construction currently. So my statement on there with the week of September 19th, structural steel starting. So since I submitted this and with today's new information in the board packet, we are still working through some details, and the structural steel package is extremely large. So got a few things going. Hopefully in the next few days we can nail down that date exactly. So I will keep everyone updated on when that occurs.
Beth, where's the generator coming from?
Other compressors?
Yeah, or the compressor, sorry.
Quincy. So we switched out, same brand that was in phase A, and we just were swapping them. Yeah.
Thanks, Beth. Sure. The slideshow?
He's trying to get his tongue
I
loose.
said no slideshow.
Oh.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I was looking forward to the slideshow.
Bummer. That's my highlight here.
Yeah.
This would have been a good one.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. This is what I like.
Glad you said something.
Only they work. So you can see that corner there is your front admin. It's this very large building. So up in the front corner up on this end is where the first elevator is, and then down on the south, that other elevator is for your second elevator. That kind of gives you that. You've seen the floor plan kind of the side of it.
Thanks, Beth. Okay, report of the Transdev General Manager. Welcome back, Angel.
Good evening, everyone. So just to summarize what's in your packet, last month our on-time performance did go down. It was 89% on the month. Where we have been getting pretty excited, we were at 95% for most of the past several months. Unfortunately, we did lose several drivers, and anytime you lose even one driver, that hurts us a lot. We are actively recruiting and hiring. Unfortunately, there just hasn't been a lot of foot traffic, so to speak. And then the ones that we have made offers to, unfortunately, they did not pass qualifications. So our ridership is going up at 10,802. Revenue hours are slowly increasing as well. We did have 3 accidents, all were very minor in nature. I tried to give you a little bit of a summary in there. If you have any more detailed questions, I'd be happy to answer those as well. So in staffing, we would like to have 6 to 8 more drivers. We currently have a driver in training right now. She just started this Tuesday. We have 1 graduate, and like I said, we're still trying to get more. We should have another one start tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that. Our safety meeting focused on attentive driving and safely securing mobility devices. That could be wheelchairs, walkers, canes, because we want to make sure that those are secured in the vehicle as well. Some of the other activities, Washington Township started on August 1st. We only have a handful of riders right now, and only 3 that are actually, I would call regular riders, 2 dialysis and 1 who uses the service for work. But they are slowly but surely getting more riders signed up. Excuse me, our transit is really getting into employee engagement. We have been since the beginning, but we're really putting a stronger emphasis on it. So we had our 3-day employee engagement week last week. We had food and fun for everyone each day, and we're going to continue doing that every week. And again, continue working with Eagle Lane for enhancements to the service. We'll be working with Shamron and some of that stuff, trying to just keep fine-tuning the program to make it work best for our riders. The mobile app that we currently have is getting a lot more usage than it ever has. I just signed someone up for it this morning. The best thing about that is they can check their rides in real time to see where they are, which cuts down on our phone calls and dispatch of where's my ride. So we highly encourage the app. And that's pretty much everything. Unless there's some specific questions, I'd be happy to answer anything.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say I really appreciate you putting the accident information in there and giving us a real description of what happened.
Lance told me it was very important to you.
And then, yeah, and then what you actually did for corrective action. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Andrew. Okay, public comments.
There are none.
The old business. We don't do business. All right, first one, workers' comp settlement claim 010998001167 WC01 in the amount of not to exceed $185,000.
Good evening, everyone. Exactly what our chair said. For comp settlement, the amount not to exceed $185,000.
Questions?
I just want to say thank you for providing that information ahead of time. It was very beneficial. I was able to read through it, so thank you so much.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call.
Do you want to do roll call?
Yeah, who do you want to do a roll call? It's good fine. Sharon's not here.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay. Trustee Ahart,
Aye.
trustee Paul,
Aye.
trustee Hare.
Aye.
Trustee Knox.
Aye.
I forget what she says now. I never remember.
Aye. Motion, there you go.
Motion passed.
She says her own name.
Yeah.
All right, resolution 23-10, recommendation to execute a contract with Mueller and Mueller for the electrical design upgrades for future electrical bus infrastructure in amount not to exceed $57,200. Nick.
Good evening. So the purpose of this summary is to recommend a contract to Mueller and Mueller for the upgraded design that would allow the district to install a total of 6,000 amps for the electrical service to the new campus at this location. So the decision to work towards a bus fleet that is almost half electric, we had our architects and engineers do a deep dive into the total power that would be needed to not only charge 20 to 25 electric buses in the future, but also ensure that we have enough power coming into the new campus to have everything for all the existing buildings and machinery. The determination from our design team was to go from a 4,000 amp plan to a 6,000 amp plan. So if approved, the next steps of this would be to finish the design, get those plans over to River City Construction for the already on-site contractors to make plans for the install, order the materials, and work alongside Ameren to get this done. This install would take place next year during phases C and D, since the bus charging would primarily take place in the south building, which is phase C, which is the one we're going to rehab. Doing an upgrade like this now, while the ground's tore up, will save the district a substantial amount of money. So it is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorizes the general manager to execute a contract with Mueller and Mueller for the electrical design upgrade for future electric bus infrastructure in an amount not to exceed $57,200.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please, sir.
Okay, trustee Ahart,
Aye.
trustee Paul,
Aye.
trustee Hare.
Aye.
Trustee Knox.
Affirmed.
Motion carries.
Okay, board retreat recap. Mr. General Manager.
Okay, yeah, I kind of threw some things together that we discussed at the retreat, and I pulled out a couple items that I was going to let Nick and Chandler discuss with you tonight. First, the fair, what we would do with the fare boxes and potential for going fare free. I don't know that that's going to work at this time. And then also the micro transit. And those were two of the things that I wanted to start building on. I didn't want to bring everything to the meeting and try and sort everything out that way. I think I was going to try and pull out different topics and then build on those. And then, as you said, Don, put them in our strategic plan for next year and show how we are working towards a goal for these different points. Yeah, by the time we get done, we'll have 4 or 5 items that'll be the top of our strategic plan for the next year. I think the building project will be one. Bus replacement will be two. We're kind of working on those right now as well. But then I also want to get your input on the fares and how, because that's kind of, like you said, that's one that's going to have to be decided pretty quickly. I don't think it's as bad now after talking to Nick as I first thought a few weeks ago. It sounds like we can still get parts. We just might not be able to get customer support, which our guys know how to fix the fare boxes. So I'll let Nick and Shamra go ahead with their fare findings.
Fair information. Let's chime in, you want to chime in?
Right, so good evening. We just wanted to come to you again and talk to you a little bit more about what we discussed at the retreat regarding the Peoria All-Inclusive Transportation app, fare collection, and microtransit.
Yeah, I got the click.
So when it comes to the current fare boxes, I know before it sounded like, the roof was on fire. We just weren't for sure what was going to happen, but we did have some discussion, did a little bit more digging, and we did find out, yes, that we can keep the boxes. They are obsolete. But Gen Fair has approached us about upgrades, which I talked to you all about a little bit at the retreat. We talked to them about February or March of this year. And maintenance service will no longer be available on the parts. So that would be through Gen Fair. So right here in dark print, the service desk is going to be gone. So even though we can get the parts, we don't have anybody to help us put the puzzle together if there's any issues.
So happened the turn of the year, so January, this is when this is gonna go away. We do have about 7 or 8 fare boxes still out there. We can start to take parts away if we need to. And there are third-party companies out there that can provide parts, but they're refurbished parts. Get what you get.
Yeah.
Get what you pay for with refurbished parts.
I believe we've had these fare boxes for about, 15, 20 years or so.
Yeah.
So,
About 12, 13 years old.
so to continue on talking about the current fare boxes, so as Nick just discussed, Genec, they are a company that can refurbish the parts for us. Currently, we have 7 spare boxes available on the side, so we're able to take parts from that when needed. There's no way to collect money without the fare boxes, though, so we have to understand that if they go bad. And the metal is becoming stripped in the buses from fare boxes. So as we pull them out of the fixed route buses, just to fix them, that is one of the
Where they
issues.
connect to the frame, they wobble. So over time, it just strips itself out. Then you have to do all this welding and rehab work to the buses, which takes time, takes your bus out of service. So, and then with Janec too, they'll refurbish your parts. Can't tell you how long that would take. Your part that you need could be gone for a long time before it ever come back.
So the time spent with fare collection, we did get this information since the last time we were at the retreat last month. And going out to process the money is about an hour and a half. And we have the operations director, the finance personnel, and a supervisor, a part of getting all the monies together and then taking them over to the bank. The internal control is the finance department. And then we do have somebody on administration, and it's a staff member that's filling bus pass orders and keep records on the spreadsheet.
There's actually 3 of us that do that. So it's not just one person's time, it's 3. Shannon, I, and Emily all do that.
Okay.
So that's their time every day, plus
So it's quite a few people just to
3
put
people
this
every day.
together.
So I mean, it adds up quick.
So we have 4 options as far as with the fare collection. Number 1 would be to go fare free. 2, new fare boxes. 3, app for fare collection. And 4, provide an app and keep using current fare boxes until they are no longer functional. However, if we do that, we just have to make sure that we communicate to the public that you might be able to use cash on one bus, but you may get on another one where there might be an issue with that fare box. So you have to use the app. So that's what we have for option 4.
So like Doug said, probably might not be practical right now. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for a new quote, because the quote that I got is over a year old with inflation. I don't know what that's gonna be, so I'm waiting for Jen Fair to send me a new quote so I can give you a number, so you know like how much it would cost to upgrade 53 fare boxes. Startup costs, it's not very substantial. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's about 250 to about 350 a year to do just the app. And we have a video we're going to show you about this. It's like a minute long. They're little validators. They're really easy to mount to the bus. You just mount them. Then it's all digital money. You can use your phone. You can use a preloaded card, or you can use what do you call it? Their QR code on your phone. Or like she said, the fourth option is to keep the fare boxes we have now, run them until they die, but also pursue this at the same time. So once they are going away, you can still collect fares digitally, and then you just be digital once all the fare boxes are gone. So you have 4 options. Way we see it.
So pros and cons, when it comes to fare free, it's inclusive to the entire district. So that's one great thing about if we went fare free. No longer need to take fare collection, and then we wouldn't have to worry about technology upgrades with the buses by using the apps or the fare collection boxes. There will be no maintenance. There's more time spent on other important transportation projects. Because, you know, as I was saying, it's about an hour and a half or so, and then it's a team of people that have to work together every day when we're collecting the monies. And then customer service with operators, the CSRs, and all staff members is enhanced. And then during COVID, we did go fare free, and we only had a minor problem or problems that were actually resolvable. So we just wanted to make sure we pinpoint that information. Flexibility to start when we're ready, actually. Just flip the switch and we can go fare free if that was a decision that you all would like to make. And we have an increase of ridership. So some cons, though, if we were to go fare free, is homeless riding routes and not getting off. So that was actually noted as a minor concern during the pandemic, but they were able to adjust that situation, and it was really a non-factor after that. There's no revenue, though, and approximately we're receiving about 2.5 million. And the next thing is we would have to create new opportunities to cover the missing revenue from fare collection. So we have to keep that in mind. So pros and cons with the new fare boxes. So that's a look at the new boxes. If we're to use it, we use that for paratransit if we want to. But the pros are the modern technology, and you know, in order to be sustainable in an organization these days, technology is at the forefront. There's more options to pay for rides, warranty for fare collection boxes, and revenue is being collected. So those are good things. The cons, though, is that we need to at least replace about 53 fare collection boxes, and maybe a few more down the line once we don't have a warranty, but at this time it would be about 53. Approximately 2 years before receiving fare collection boxes, because we have to go through the whole bid process and procurement. And then it does add a strain to the electrical system, and currently there's no funding this time. So the Peoria All-Inclusive Transportation app, we'll talk a little bit about microtransit here in just a moment, but fixed route and paratransit can all use this system. So the pros and cons, though, for using the app to collect fares is modern technology, as we talked about, for an organization is important these days. Pay by using an app, smartphone, reloadable card. And the good thing, too, about using the reloadable card is if your smartphone, the battery's low, at least you can have a card. So, and we also talked about at the retreat that if it was at the drugstore, we definitely want to have it also available at the transit center. We can go cashless at that time, and then it would be contactless, which is great during a pandemic. And it's easy to install. There's no more physical trips to the bank, so it saves time. So cons are, I have to put cashless here again because that is a con for some people, because some people, that's all they know is to carry cash. And we have to think about the underserved population as well that may not have access to technology. approximately is 2 years before receiving the app based on the bid procurement. So it's about a 2-year process. Strain on electrical system changes will require educating, and some people, they just don't like change. But that's just something that we probably have to do. And then currently, there's no funding.
There are grants that are coming up for all this. It's just, as of right now, they're not ready to be applied for.
It just takes a lot of time with the process. So some of the technology companies that deal with the app process that we talked with throughout the year is Mocha, Meet, Move It, and Masabi. It kind of gives you a look of what the app will look like. And then we're just going to take a look at this YouTube video real quick.
like 1.7 million or maybe it's, I don't know, 17. I don't remember, but is there a way we can do it in-house instead of
Oh, for the zone?
microtransit?
Yeah, for the what we looked at is two of the things that we're short of is vehicles and operators. So we thought if you really wanted to get this up and moving fast, we contract it out, give all our headaches to somebody else, but it is very expensive. So, yeah, I think if we hire our own drivers, buy our own vehicles, it'll take a little longer, but it'll be a lot less expensive. I'm hoping when they're down at IPTA, they had some vans, one of the bus companies had some vans. We've had a shortage of vehicles in the state. They're finally getting ramped up. Hopefully we can find out what those will cost. But they had some vehicles that would work for this application. So, yeah, that's kind of why we're looking. We threw out worst case scenario first and then.
There's multiple options to all these ideas, just a lot to ponder.
And I guess the basis for throwing these two at you first were that, you know, like I said earlier, we've got the building, we've got buses coming up. And these are a couple of projects that are on the horizon, but we won't be able to do anything this year. We're short of local match. We'll have to budget for it probably next year. And it's kind of like, which do you look, which is more important, or do we take a little bit of both and start on one and get started on the other, do a little bit of both, or kind of prioritize? So we'll have future discussion.
One more question. The 11 million that we got from somewhere, from some grant,
For rebuild.
okay, what is that, are those like dedicated funds that go for something specific?
Projects that we apply for or approved, so we have to use them for those projects.
Gotcha, all right.
You could ask to reallocate it, but that'll take a long time. You might not get your way, so.
That's fine, I
It's
just
state
didn't
money,
know,
they're very finicky.
I just wondered, and can you give me just the gist of what those projects were that you'd asked for that money?
Oh gosh, what was it? It was the rest of the building and A&E, I think.
$8 million
Yeah.
for the construction,
Yeah.
$3 million for the transit center
Okay.
remodel.
That's what it was, the transit center remodel,
The under the dome project.
the under the dome, then the rest was money outside.
Thank you.
So are we taking an approach of obviously there's some short-term things like the fare box, but also how is the project plan looking to tie together the long-term things? So some items you said could be up to 2 years out. That would tie in though close to how many months would that be of getting the new buses as well?
Exactly, that's why we're at, yeah, that's why we're.
So, you know, in some cases, are you gonna give us like a thoughts of the long-term plan working backwards, in addition to potentially the short-term, you know, fare boxes and cards that may all get replaced with a long-term plan for new buses and strictly a phone app?
So basically, if you went to just the app, we can do that now, because we're validators, you take it, you snap them on our current buses, you're good to go. With the fare boxes, the plan's always kind of been, we wanted 5 fare boxes for these buses. We would just try and keep the fare boxes we have now operating as long as we possibly could, because most of these buses are gonna be, their useful life is, some are weeks and months away, some are very close. So what we would do is if you told us, yes, we want you to go buy new fare boxes, whenever the buses are built at the factory, their fare boxes will be installed there. That's kind of like what we did for Jason's Quantums. They installed them at the factory, things like that. So whenever your additional features, you would have the contractor to get to order for the buses, they would work with the other contractor and stick them on our bus. So it would all get delivered as one big package. So you're not gonna get a bus, you're like, oh, I don't have a fare box, then you can't run it. So it all would come ready to go. That's how we did the current electric buses.
We want to be done with the fare box issue by the time the new buses will go into service. We don't want to have that headache by that time. we should have it all.
And like Doug said, we're working on getting our, our next procurement for buses going. So that could be upwards of 14 to 16 potential new buses that would have new fare boxes if you wish to do that.
No,
Maybe we would turn and go towards the electric buses, and all electric buses would be new fare boxes. So, or new validators, or whatever it is you want us to do, the combination, one or the other, or nothing.
Oh, yeah, one other nugget too that Nick brought up is that Springfield, they're getting actually all new fare boxes.
We looked into that.
Yeah.
Springfield's getting, they have a few more buses than we do, but they're getting all new gen fare.
They have the boxes that we currently have.
so should we be looking to procure those old?
Well, hang on,
ones?
I keep playing devil's advocate here because we were also told by Gen Fair that another transit agency, wouldn't tell me who it is, about our size, they ordered a bunch of boxes just like this a while ago. They've had them on their bus and they're not working. It's pros and cons, pros and cons, pros and cons.
Do the two of you have any perception as to what the perception from the public would be if we go to the app type thing, just a scanner? Do you have any, I mean, they're flipping out over the bus route changes. I mean, before we pour salt into an open wound, I mean, do you have any idea of how it would be a public perception of that?
My gut here is by the time this would roll out, hopefully your route issues will have subsided and be operating the way they should be operating.
And we have
They-
to add in
they're-
the educational component too.
They're operating the way they should, but everybody's new routes, like they should have them at least memorized and know what's, the route is by then, so.
Would we, if we go to the app type process, is this something that we have to have public forum on for people to talk about it, or do we just say
We would-
surprise?
We would do it
Yeah.
as a
Courtesy.
As
courtesy.
as a courtesy.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
don't know
not
that
like
we
something
have
that
to do
we're,
it, but
it's not
something
required.
like that, yeah.
If we-
Okay,
Something like that we would.
okay.
And a lot of the companies that her and I have spoken to about this, is built into their prices, all kinds of marketing and outreach. And they would hold training sessions all over Peoria. So we would go to like a transit center, however many times we think we would need it, we would hold like how-to demos. And they have, just like the MyAvail app, they have videos, like user videos, you can just put on the screens down there and they just loop and loop, and like 30 seconds, minute long, so they can show you how to walk through an app and how it works. So we wouldn't just be like, here's a new fare collection system, by. We would train and train and train and train them. We probably would do it more than likely weeks and months. We would spend doing it.
And it could be an advantage in some areas because some people bring change and then the change machine doesn't work and,
Right.
so
As everything starts changing,
Yeah.
tickets don't.
pros and cons.
You looked at any districts with fare free, that, studied them, like what's working well. I mean, I could see a number of advantages. I think it would be PR boom if it was fare free. I mean, you get a lot more ridership.
We reached out, I think it's Kansas City, Missouri. They're the big one that I know of in this country that's gone fare free. So we're waiting to hear back to see, how'd you do it and how's it going? So.
When I was in a conference in February, there was a lady there that their system was one fare free, Alexandria, Virginia. And so I'm gonna get in touch with her and see how it's going.
Since we're talking fare, and this is my last thing. County Link, is that the one that's the $6 per ride? Okay, but that wouldn't be included in what we're talking about now, if we're talking fare free, or would it be?
That's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to us.
You.
Uh-huh.
So do we control that amount, that amount? Help me. The fare fee that we charge them, we control that. So we could change that?
The Perry County Board originally is when it came up with the fair for County Link.
Uh-huh.
Once you entered into the intergovernmental agreement, it's obvious.
It's all us. And the reason why I ask that is because every place I've gone, and even when we had the WOW session, there were so many complaints about that $6, how expensive it is for people to pay that, because if you get, that's a $12 trip. So we can control it? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Fare boxes can go on there, but the validators for the app could. So another way to help them more conveniently pay. And then there was, Doug could probably correct me if I'm wrong, there's another transit agency, I'm pretty sure it's New Orleans. They did away with cash, and they just used the app.
Okay.
And we watched, they showed us all kinds of, we watched videos and looked at news articles about it, because it's, they love it.
But to be clear, and I think you guys are really close to it, and I pick up on this, but it's really three options, right? It's cash, or it's a card, whether it's a transit card or your credit card, or it's an app only. So I think you gotta make sure it's clear. So, you know, we wanna go away from cash, but we might have to take, it sounds to me like this other step of some sort of card transaction, whether it's gonna read an individual credit or debit card, or we're gonna have to sell transit cards.
Yeah, or you can bring your cash to the transit center and buy your digital card.
Yeah,
You have it
exactly.
forever, and then you're done.
Yeah,
You just reload it all you want, like a debit card.
exactly.
Because we had talked about the retreat, and we got back to that thing about reloading, and that's how the drugstore thing came in.
Yeah,
And I didn't like that unless we were gonna be able to have them reloaded at the.
yeah, we'll have
Okay,
that transit center
okay.
as well.
Once you get your card, it's yours forever. You just get on your account, and that card's linked to you, so our
Okay.
customer service reps can get on, here's your name,
Gotcha.
how much money you want to put on your card, you're done.
Yeah, I would suggest everybody have a card because sometimes your phone doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
just to have it.
Get your phone dice, scratch your card, good to go.
Right.
okay.
Lots of options.
Yeah, the fourth option was basically, if we wanted to keep using cash, we could use our old fire boxes to collect the cash until they finally.
Those could go on for a while.
I think that option that, I think we're all on the same page that we wanna be done with cash
Yeah, that's.
by the time the new buses are in service, right? So the question now is, what's the interim step between keeping the fare boxes that we have and keeping them in use with the old buses and potentially using this other form of payment until the new buses go into service and then you put the new app and everything all at once.
And once we do a procurement and we get something awarded, we can come back and tell you, your buses are this far out.
Right,
Now, we know we got like a year and a half to start phasing out the old, bring in the new. We know we have enough time to go out and get a mobile app that's the way you're ready to go.
Because I have to, make our product as well when it comes to the app, so it's going to take a little bit of time as well.
in the meantime, if you have, I don't know where so Springfield or Champaign, these places that may be getting rid of the fare boxes that match the ones we have,
I mean, we thought
I
about
mean,
that.
you may be looking, stocking up on them. Because we're talking potentially 2 years.
Yeah.
And
I think it has-
So it just makes sense that if those can become available, that we buy them.
So doing away with cash, keep collecting fares. Got it.
Last comment I have, it's related but not related to Patty's question about the $6. One other takeaway I have from the retreat was that the short-term things, we need to look at our fare system because it sounded like, and I'm gonna get this wrong, so you guys that touch it every day, correct me, that it's a better deal for a rider to buy a weekly pass than a monthly pass? There was,
that explained to me, and that's not true.
okay, all right, so that's not true,
But
all right.
I did think that,
Okay, that's what I walked away thinking
but
after
one
the
of the
retreat.
CSRs explained it to me.
So that's not correct.
It's not correct.
All right,
Okay,
never mind. Scratch the question.
that's, yeah,
I wanted to make sure we had the best,
yeah, so it is a
the
deal.
more rides you buy, the
With the
cheaper it
$40,
is.
it
Okay,
had explained, but we're good.
got it.
All right.
Thanks for your feedback.
Thank you.
Okay, Doug, bylaw update.
You have to tell me. Yeah. That breaks it.
We're sorry. We're good. Dave, I'm a sweetheart.
So I initially broke out all the different sections and updates that you had brought to my attention. And then on the second page, or third page, we highlighted the changes in red and what they would look like. And then on the very end of it, what I put together was where everybody stands and when their term expires for the current board. So. Questions, comments? Is this what you were looking for?
Nicely done, thank you very much. Nicely done, thank you very much.
You have to thank Desiree. She
Thank
did
you,
most of it.
Desiree.
Oh, you're not.
All right, so
Are they gonna vote on that?
if they want to, we can vote on it.
Right, go.
If you're gonna change it, you gotta vote on it.
A motion that we, accept the new bylaws.
I second. Roll it out.
Perfect, okay. Well, then, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of updating and accepting the changes to the new bylaws, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, motion passed. Okay. Ms. Christine, financial report, August 2022.
Right, this is for August 2022, our financial report to provide for to see approval spend operating expense and also the capital expenditure. The total for the August operating expense it will be $2,633,734.80. Compared with our monthly budget, we spend less than 1% less than our projection. And the capital expenditure, majority we paid two big bill to the River City for our facility construction. It will be $1,203,845.31. Staff recommend board approve above staff mentioned expenditure and expense.
Questions, Christine?
I just have one comment. I saw where we had to tow a bus. Do we need to buckle up for that? Is that things that we have? We had to tow a bus?
Mhm.
So is that what we have to look forward to until we get a new fleet of buses? It just kind of, I want to know if we need to get ready for it.
The worst part about that is we bought a brand new tow truck
Yeah.
and we still have to contract out a tow truck driver now and then.
Oh, my gosh, okay, okay.
Because we don't have the staff to drive the tow truck. It's one part of it.
That's all.
I got a question. On the workman's comp,
Mhm.
is it a consultant that we paid like 38,000, 44,000, two separate payments?
For the worker comp,
Workman's comp,
we pay for the this settlement right now. The one you
Yeah.
see that, we'll see it next full bill. And they're also including everything, sometimes the attorney fee, everything included in there. But this one, just a one settlement, so the one big lump sum.
so is that a typical charge that was, I'm trying to get my head around. Yeah,
So I can answer that. It varies month to month, depends on medical bills that are out there that the employees have injured themselves, have to go, or any type of legal expenses or anything else that wasn't there. So it can vary depending on the month and the number of employees that are.
Severity of the injury.
Yeah.
It's all dependent on. We do have consultants, so we do
Yeah.
have, you pay third-party administrators,
Yeah.
claim administrators to supervise claims and do all the paperwork on the claims. And then they interact with the medical people and nursing people and Tim Cassidy, who does the legal side of it.
and that's on top of the 185,000.
Well, that's just a separate fee for being involved the whole year in the program of Okay, that's not part of the 185. That's just the one.
It's that one case. So,
Yeah, one particular case, yeah.
Okay, hearing no more questions, can I get a motion to accept the August financial report? Can I get a second? Okay,
Second.
roll call, please.
Trustee Ahern,
Approved.
trustee Bolt,
Approved.
trustee Hare,
approved.
trustee Knox.
Approved.
Motion passes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next meeting will be October 17th. Right here, same time, same that channel. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we'll do that next time.
No.
October, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. And then those-
So, I know what I'm saying.
Did you adjourn the meeting?
It is. Yes, yes.